Yeah, kogency reacts channel. Before we jump into the video, let's like, comment, subscribe, bro. We've been losing subs, bro. Don't get me wrong, it's like 1 sub, 2 subs, so it's like 4 subs. We only lost 4 subs, right? But still, bro, like I don't like seeing that, bro. So can we at least gain 4 subs for the 4 subs that we lost? So if you're watching this and you're not subscribed, can you please subscribe before we jump into this video? Please, bro. Like, bro, we've been putting in a lot of videos, bro. I start posting shorts now. I gone live consistently now. Come on, bro. And nobody subscribing, bro. Come on, don't do me that, bro. Don't do me that, bro. At least give me a like, give me a comment, give me a something, bro, something. But anyway, we have Holland Crime Boulevard. We haven't reacted to the channel in a while. So we have
November night.
Holland, how London's most powerful gang got brutally removed from power. Alright, let's jump into it. Before we jump into it, please like, comment, and subscribe. Please. Let's jump into it.
In 2011, when the sound of gunshots shattered the silence at a funeral in Southwark. Aziza Ronnie Khan lay motionless, the latest victim in a brutal gang feud that had gripped South London. This was the peak of the GAS gang's reign of terror, a gang that had risen from Brixton's roughest streets to become London's most feared criminal network. But their downfall was imminent. A tale of relentless police crackdowns, internal betrayals, and bloody turf wars that would tear them apart.
Internal betrayal.
Think of it like this. It's the late 2000s and a new gang starts to make waves in the rough streets of Brixton's Angel Town estate. This gang, known as GAS Gang or just GAS, quickly became infamous. The name GAS has a few meanings: guns and shanks, gangsters always shoot, grip and shoot, and grind and stack. Each name gives you a clue about what they were all about.
Yep.
Violence and making money.
You know exactly what they were on
Brixton
about.
had always had its fair share of gang problems. Every generation seemed to bring a new gang with a new name, but the core issue remains the same: poverty, violence, and crime. Angel Town Estate in particular was a hotspot for these activities. Before the GAS gang came along, there were PDC, which stood for Peel Dem Crew, or Poverty Driven Children.
Yep.
These guys were top dogs in the area until the early 2000s, where many of their leaders ended up behind bars. This led to PDC fragmenting into smaller groups, creating a power vacuum. So, with PDC falling apart, new factions started to pop up. One of these was the Y28, founded by a man named Bafa Joof. He was part of the PDC Brats, which was a junior squad of the PDC. The Y28 made friends with other local gangs like Tiny OC from Myatt's Field and Murder Zone from Summer Leighton Estate.
Okay.
They needed these alliances because they were constantly battling.
It's crazy how all of these gangs end up just split off into the gangs that we're end up reacting to now. So the gangs that have all of these rappers now, and from all of these ends that's beefing. This is where it all started from. All of these names: Murder Zone, Tiny OC, and what's the next one? Gas Brats or something like that. Like
gangs from nearby areas, especially those from Peckham. Around this time, something really brutal happens that pushed these alliances even closer together. Members of Y28 were caught unarmed by Peckham gang members and got stabbed. This attack convinced the Y28 and Tiny OC that they had to unite to survive. That's when they decided to form the GAS gang, sometime around 2007. Bafa Joof, a former member of PDC Brats, was one of the key figures in forming the GAS gang. Although he eventually left the gang life after getting some guidance from his probation officer, his early influence was significant. At its peak, the GAS gang reportedly had over 100 members. These were mostly young guys from the allied groups, the Tinies of their original gangs. GAS gang didn't just form in a vacuum. They inherited a lot of beef from their predecessor groups. They had serious rivalries with gangs like PYG, Peckham Young Guns, and GMG from Peckham. These rivalries often turned violent, but it wasn't all enemies for the GAS gang. They had their allies too. They were tight with Murder Zone, MZ, Organised Crime, OC, Original Brooklyn Youths, OBY, Brooklyn Family Riders, BFR, and Roadside Gs. These alliances helped them in their territorial battles and solidified their power base in Brixton. By the time we hit the early 2010s, GAS Gang had established itself as a dominant force in Brixton. They were known for their brutal violence and fearless approach to gang life. From their base in Angeltown Estates, they began expanding their influence across South London. With every violent incident, their reputation grew, and soon enough, everyone in the area knew who they were. In the early days, the GAS Gang adopted the colours green and purple. These colours were a nod to their roots, green from organised crime, OC, and purple from Y28s. Wearing these colours was more than just a fashion statement. It was a way to show allegiance and instill fear in their rivals' hearts. The gang's notoriety started with some very public and violent incidents. In 2009, CCTV footage showed large groups of GAS gang members brazenly riding into territories controlled by rival gangs.
Wow.
These weren't small acts, they were calculated moves to assert dominance. This footage gave the public a glimpse of how bold and organised the GAS gang was.
Yeah.
One of the most shocking incidents that year was the stabbing of a 13-year-old boy outside a fast food shop in Camberwell. This attack was part of the ongoing feud between the GAS gang and Peckham Young Guns, PYG.
Oh wow.
The fact that such a young kid got caught up in this brutal world highlighted the gang's reach and the dangerous environment they created. The attack made headlines and brought a lot of attention to the escalating gang violence in South London. Unfortunately, it was just the start. GAS Gang's rise was marked by numerous violent clashes with rival gangs. In one incident in 2010, a PYG member drove into GAS territory and opened fire on a group of GAS members. This kind of brazen violence was a regular occurrence between these two gangs. Another rival was ABM, All About Money, based in Stockwell. The death of 15-year-old Zach Onimegbon allegedly
linked. The man even show it where Team Raw, C-Figs, all of them man they come from, bro. What this one did name before?
In Stockwell.
All About Money.
Another rival was ABM.
ABM, All About Money. You see what I mean, bro? Everything connected.
All About Money, based in Stockwell. The death of 15-year-old Zach Onimegbon, allegedly linked to the GAS gang, was a flashpoint in this rivalry. Zach was killed in 2010. The GAS gang later admitted the hit to send a message to rival gangs. Well, Zach's death led to significant legal consequences for GAS members. Trust No One, TN1, another Brixton-based gang, had frequent run-ins with GAS gang, and in one notable incident, a younger TN1 member was stabbed outside Brixton Police Station by a GAS member. This was a bold move, showing how fearless GAS gang members could be and how they didn't have any regard for the law. They didn't shy away from violence, even in front of law enforcement. DSN, Don't Say Nothing, from Croydon, also had conflicts with the GAS gang. These altercations often involved stabbings and shootings, contributing to the chaotic gang landscape in South London. During their rise, GAS gang members were involved in various criminal activities, with guns and drugs being a significant part of their operations. They were known to carry firearms, which was relatively rare and highly illegal in the UK. This made them even more dangerous. Drug dealing, especially crack cocaine, was another major source of their income. They had a network that extended beyond Brixton, showing just how organised they were. But while the GAS gang had risen from a small group to a well-established, ruthless gang, their rivals increased with equal speed. In November 2011, Aziza Ronnie Khan was shot dead while attending the funeral of a GAS gang member who died in a car crash. The funeral was held in Southwark, which was a rival territory. Despite police being warned about the potential for violence, they failed to provide adequate protection. One of the most heartbreaking incidents involving the GAS gang occurred in March 2012. 3 members of the gang, Nathaniel Grant, Kazim Kolawole, and Anthony McCalla, were attempting to shoot a rival gang member who'd run into a shop where Thusha Kamaliswaran, a 5-year-old girl, was playing. They fired indiscriminately into the store, and a bullet hit Thusha in the chest, leaving her paralysed from the waist down. This act of violence shocked the nation and highlighted the innocent victims caught in the crossfire of gang wars. The violence wasn't just about turf wars. By 2012, the gang was linked to at least 3 deaths and numerous attempted hits. The local council and police believed that the gang was responsible for 3/4 of the violent incidents involving young people in Brixton. Up to 8 suspected members went to jail for murder or attempted murder. Underlining the deadly nature of their activities, the statistics were staggering and painted a grim picture of the gang's impact on the community. As you can imagine, by 2012, the GAS gang had established a notorious reputation as one of the most dangerous gangs in South London. They had about 50 members actively involved in various criminal activities, but their influence extended far beyond their numbers. The gang was responsible for a significant portion of the violent crimes in Brixton, with authorities estimating that they were involved in 3/4 of the violent incidents involving young people in the area.
That's bad.
Their operations included drug dealing, gun crime, and violent assaults, making parts of Brixton no-go zones even for the police.
No wonder they
2
got rid of
months
them
after
niggas,
the
bro.
Thusher shooting, another brutal act was committed by GAS gang members. Temidayo Oguneye, a young man who'd been robbed by GAS members, returned to Myatt's Field to retrieve his phone. He was ambushed and stabbed to death by Nathan McLeod, a GAS gang member. McLeod was later sentenced to a minimum of 14 years for the death of Oguneye.
Wow.
This incident further cemented the gang's reputation for extreme violence and brutality. By 2012, these incidents had solidified GAS gang status as one of the most feared gangs in London. Their violent acts weren't just random, they were calculated moves that left a trail of devastation and fear. The gang's dominance during this period was marked by an unrelenting wave of violence, leaving a lasting impact on the communities they terrorized. However, things were about to change for the GAS gang. The police had had enough of their reign of terror in South London. The gang's violent activities and drug dealings were out of control, and something had to be done to bring them down. Here's how the police tackled the problem head-on. In 2012, the police launched a major operation targeting the key members of the GAS gang. This wasn't just a couple of officers on patrol. This was a coordinated effort to dismantle the gang's operations from the inside out. They managed to arrest several prominent members involved in drug dealing and violent crimes. Nathaniel Grant, Kazim Kolawole, and Anthony McCalla were sentenced to life in prison. These arrests were crucial because they targeted the leaders who orchestrated much of the gang's activities. By taking out the top players, the police hoped to destabilize the gang's structure. As relentless as the police pursuit was, it would still take time before they could put an end to the GAS gang's operations. The gang roamed freely for, well, the next 2 years. The big hammer came down in April 2014. This time, it wasn't just a local operation. It was a massive crackdown involving over 700 police officers.
Wow.
They conducted raids on the houses of gang members across London and even outside the city.
Bro, in 2014, that's literally when the beef with 6-7 was starting to heat up.
9 raids were specifically targeted around the Angletown estate, where the GAS gang was headquartered. These raids weren't just about making arrests. They were about sending a message that the police were serious about ending GAS gang's dominance. During these raids, the police uncovered a wide array of criminal activities linked to the gang. They found evidence of drug dealing.
He literally has AT on his hand, bro. Angel Town on his hand.
Wide array of criminal activities linked to the gang. They found evidence of drug dealing, money laundering, gun crime, and violent assaults. This was a significant blow to GAS gang's operations and marked a turning point in the fight against gang violence in South London. Detective Chief Inspector Tim Champion noted that this operation significantly suppressed violence in the area, with a noticeable reduction in knife crime amongst young people. The decline of the GAS gang was a combination of several factors, but one of the biggest was the jailing of their leaders. When the top dogs were taken off the streets, it created a massive power vacuum. The gang was highly dependent on its leadership, and without those key figures, there were a lot of confusion and infighting. Younger members vied for control, but they lacked the experience and authority of their predecessors. As the power struggle continued, splinter groups began to emerge. 2 of the most notable factions were Rock Block 150 and Siren. Rock Block 150, also known simply as 150, was formed by young members who wanted to distance themselves from the older generation. They had a different style and approach, especially in the music scene, where they made a name for themselves in the UK drill genre. On the other hand, Siren was another faction that developed from the Summer Leighton estate area.
From the murder
These
zone
groups
niggas.
still carried the legacy of the GAS gang, but operated independently and often had their own internal conflicts.
Siren, you know?
Adding to the chaos was the rivalry with the 76 gang, based in Brixton Hill.
You mean
The
6-7?
76 gang became a significant player in the area.
Nah, bro. That just spoiled the whole video, bro. Man said the 76 gang. I'm just gonna let him know at 12:27 or 26. It's 6-7 gang, bro. 6-7 gang. At least you watch me correct this nigga, you know.
Frequently clashed with the remnants of the GAS gang and its splinter groups.
I literally
These
said
internal
that.
and external conflicts further weakened the cohesion
Isn't
and
that
power
odd
of the
ads? Isn't this odd ads, bro?
GAS gang. The relentless efforts of law enforcement played a crucial role in breaking down the gang's influence. The police were determined to dismantle the gang's operations, and their persistence paid off. The raids and arrests in 2012 and 2014 were pivotal moments. By removing key players and continuously pressuring the gang, the police managed to disrupt their activities significantly. The impact on local crime rates was noticeable. With many of the most violent and active members behind bars, the number of violent incidents involving young people in Brixton began to decrease. The police reported a 6.5% reduction in knife crime among the under 25s, which was a significant achievement in an area plagued by gang violence. These efforts not only reduced the immediate threat, but also helped to weaken the gang's grip on the community. The constant police presence and the fear of raids and arrests made it harder for the gang to recruit new members and maintain their operations.
True.
Over time, this persistent pressure from law enforcement contributed to the overall decline of the GAS gang. The infighting and power struggles within the GAS gang didn't just weaken their structure, it also made them more vulnerable to external threats. The rivalry with the 67 gang was particularly damaging. The 67 gang wasn't just another rival, they were well organised and equally, if not more ruthless. Their rise created additional pressure on the GS gang, leading to frequent violent clashes. These conflicts strained resources and morale, further fragmenting the gang. This combination of internal fragmentation and external pressure from rivals and law enforcement gradually eroded the power and influence of the GAS gang. What was once a unified and feared organisation splintered into smaller, less cohesive groups that struggled to maintain the same level of control and dominance. When the police did the final count of all GAS gang dealings, what they found out was extremely shocking. The GAS gang was notorious for its involvement in assassinations, stabbings, and shootings. From 2010 to 2012, the gang was linked to at least 3 deaths. This included the high-profile killing of a 15-year-old Zach Olumegbon in 2010, who was ambushed and stabbed outside his school. In another tragic case, the shooting that paralyzed 5-year-old Thusha Kamaleswaran occurred in 2012 when gang members fired into a shop aiming for a rival but hit the innocent girl instead. Stabbings were a frequent occurrence, with many but hit the innocent girl instead.
I guess this is where they were running and like, oh my
Stabbings
God.
were a frequent occurrence, with many gang altercations ending in severe injuries or death. For example, in 2011, a younger member of the rival TN1 gang was stabbed outside Brixton Police Station by a GS gang member. Shootings were also part of their violent repertoire. In one notable incident, a PYG member drove into GS territory and opened fire on a group of GS members. The gang's drug dealing operations were extensive and sophisticated. They primarily dealt with coke and expanded their network beyond Brixton. By 2014, police raids revealed that the GAS gang had contacts and drug operations in Edinburgh, Essex, Bedfordshire, Reading, and Bracknell. Contacts and drug operations in Edinburgh, Essex.
Bro, Essex, bro, like sometimes I just wonder like how is the world like this, bro? Like what the fuck, bro? Like this is high thoughts late at night, but still, bro, like what the fuck?
Bedfordshire, Reading, and Bracknell. Their drug dealing wasn't just about street level sales, they were involved in money laundering and other organised crime activities to support their operations.
Oh, really?
Hearing from people who lived through the gang's reign provides a raw and real perspective on their impact. Former members have shared harrowing accounts of their time in the gang. One founder, who later left the gang, recounted harrowing
I didn't even realize this is a gun. Oh
accounts
my God.
of their time in the gang. One founder, who later left the gang, recounted how the gang had over 100 members at its height, all involved in some sort of criminal activity. The constant threat of violence and the pressure to maintain loyalty were overwhelming. What are your thoughts on the GS gang story? Let us know in the comments below.
Yo, that's cool still. As in, we kind of know it because we've reacted to like so many UK drill plug and Skyboy and UK Drill Nerd and all these drill documentaries about, the wars in South and stuff. So I didn't know it was going to be this. I didn't know, because from the title it didn't say gas gang. It said how London's most powerful gang got brutally removed from power. So now we see that it was about gas gang. Pretty interesting. I mean, but we know most of the stuff though, so it's just a different angle. And he got the name 6-7 wrong, so I don't know. It's alright, decent video though. I still like Holland Crime Boulevard, so check him out in the comments. Check out my links in the description as well. Hit the like button, please. Jump in the comments, please, for any reason. W in the comments. Type for no reason in the comments, or just tell me what you like and what you want to see next in the comments. And subscribe, please. I don't want to lose any more subs. Let's just get more dubs. Alright? Subscribe. Let's stay alive. Kogency, and I'm out. Peace.